If you're considering whether or not your ex is a narcissist after the breakup based upon what's happened to you, watch this video. Hey, what's up? I'm Coach Benny, and I help people get their exes back. And if your ex broke up with you seemingly out of nowhere, and then all of a sudden they were being cold and distant with you, and then shortly thereafter, maybe they were even on Tinder or, seeing someone brand new, it feels like they could be a narcissist. And you start questioning whether or not anything you even had was even real. But this is a really narrow line of thinking because you're just kind of emotionally taking into consideration what's happened to you at the end of the relationship versus, those genuine moments that you had all throughout the course of the relationship leading up to it. One of the things I'll tell you is that a big difference between a narcissist and somebody that would do this kind of a thing during the breakup is that a narcissist literally thinks they're like Jesus. They think they have delusions of grandeur. They literally think that they're the best person on planet Earth. Whereas a dismissive avoidant, which is the kind of person that keeps their issues to themselves and they mentally check out ahead of time before they come to you and they finally break up with you and they kind of made up their mind. And then, because that's their only coping mechanism for stress, which is running away from their problems, when you go to them, they're super cold and distant. Okay, that kind of person doesn't think very highly of themselves at all. Matter of fact, the dismissive avoidant was emotionally neglected in childhood, and they actually think that they don't deserve anybody. And they think that you'd be much better off without them. And the only way that they can reinforce this departure from the relationship is to be cold and distant, from you, which they've never even been like that before in the relationship. Maybe slightly distant, but certainly not cold. And so you can see a big difference in the way that the narcissist versus the dismissive avoidant views themselves. However, their behavior can be similar because it feels like a discard. It feels like a dismissive one. It just gets rid of you and then moves on to the next person. And that's not really what's happening. Typically what happens with a dismissive avoidant is that they get overwhelmed from the way that they live their life in terms of stress, or they have a fear of commitment. Maybe you step up the obligation in the relationship, or they're wrestling with their low self-worth. The honeymoon phase has ended and now they think that they're not really up to the task of the relationship. And then they'll start to break up with you. And again, they reinforce it by being cold and distant. We call that a deactivation strategy. Now, a narcissist doesn't care about you at all. They're just using you. And then when they have no more use for you, they'll get rid of you. And I think that with a dismissive one especially, you're going to see a lot of self-sacrifice in the relationship, not just for you, but for other people as well. They bend over backwards. Typically, they're people pleasers. And a narcissist would never lend themselves to that kind of behavior unless for whatever reason it gave them a major advantage, to win somebody over and kind of pull the wool over their eyes and that kind of a thing. So understand that, even though it feels like you've been discarded at the end of the breakup, there's reasons for it. If you want to get into why and have me kind of illuminate everything, you can schedule a call with me. But it's much different than narcissism, which is a personality disorder, whereas the dismissive one is an attachment style. And if you want to have a talk about this, click into my profile, click this link, set up a call with me, and tell me your story. And if you'd like, I'll give you a step-by-step game plan to get your ex back.